Loneliness as an entrepreneur is a real thing. If you want to accomplish something great in your life, you're going to be outgrowing people. And I'm not saying this to be cocky. I'm not saying this to, say I'm the best. I'm not best at anything. But what I'm saying is, if you want to progress your life, you're going to have to give up the old you. If you want to progress your life, you're going to have to create space from bad habits and from bad people and bad situations. Because if you continuously put yourself back in those habits, it takes you back to your old self, right? And most of the time you don't look around and see how far you've come because it just becomes your environment, right? It becomes your reality. And it kind of like shook me the other day because I was working out in the gym I go to, and this man was like, "Hey, like, do you like your car?" And I'm talking to him about my car, and he's like, "Is that your parents?" I was like, "No, my parents passed away." And like, I kind of dropped the ball on him. Like, I kind of felt bad because he was like joking with me. He's like, "Is that your parents' car?" I was like, "Nah, man, I ain't got no parents." And then he was like, he just started asking me all these questions about life, and it had me thinking. It was like, what happens if I like got all this adversity placed on me and I didn't answer it with commitment, or I didn't answer it with focus? I would be a crash out, bro. I would be out at the bars every weekend, committing sins every single day. And it made me think, it was like, on your journey of self-improvement, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, it's going to get lonelier. Your circle's going to shrink. Your inner circle is almost going to become half the size, if not a third of the size of what it used to be. And don't be scared when this happens, because it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of that chapter, right? I was torn up the biggest when all my friends and I kind of started moving away because life got lonelier, right? I didn't have people to go out and do stuff with all the time because it was either my business or choose to keep like putting myself in those situations and keep growing backwards, because you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And especially, it depends on what type of standard you want to hold for yourself, right? For a little while, for almost like a year and a half, 2 years, I was like working on my business and I was like working on getting better, but I'd still go out and drink. I would still go out and smoke and do all these things. And it was like my progress in life never actually started to compound until I actually locked in and showed up every day and did something, right? Because it's like, if you go half in, you're just pouring little bits of water in your bucket, versus like if you just focus on one thing in your life and just streamline that, you'll be pouring as much water as you can and the bucket's going to fill up faster. That's what I always think about, right? Because I'm like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to do so many things in my life, but I can't do that until I've mastered this one thing, which is getting as many clients and changing lives as possible, and like growing my YouTube, doing all these things related to one simple thing, which is make an impact on this world. But the biggest thing is, in order to do that, I have to give up my time to focus in and create the best programming, create the best documents so my clients can actually see results. Because if I just did it like everybody else and was like, oh, we're going to get you fit, then it wouldn't be of any value, right? So it's like, when you're on your path to entrepreneurship or just being successful in general, my gosh, you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing, and I'm not saying like monk mode. Whoa. No, I'm just saying like, bro, you gotta give up some time to actually focus on your purpose and to focus on what you need to be doing as far as like your business or your whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing, but do an audit of your life. And that's another thing I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to audit my life. I'm going to go through, I'm going to see things I need to remove, people that are bringing me down, areas of my life I need to hyper focus and fixate on. That's how you get clear on your goals. Because if you're just constantly just working on random stuff and you're constantly just floating throughout the day, it's going to be very hard to be successful because you're not using your mental battery for good use, right? You have a battery, just like a phone or whatever, right? Your mind has a battery, and if the second you wake up, if you're scrolling TikTok, that battery's drained, bro. You're like 50% already. It's because you only have so much dopamine to give out daily. So you have to get used to like putting your dopamine in difficult places, whether that's cold plunge, workout, waking up early, going for a run, stuff like that that gets your heart rate up, that increases blood flow, really gets your like emotions feeling, so you can actually hear your thoughts. Because if you're never consistently like sitting there and thinking, and there's always something going on in your mind, you're never going to know who you truly are, right? So the biggest thing I can say is be comfortable with being lonely. Like genuinely sit here, because as your life progresses, especially if your homies are like getting married and or you're just on an entrepreneurship journey, you're not going to be able to stay with everybody, and it sucks, but that's the piece that you have to give up. And like, know that you always have God and you always have yourself. Just know that no matter how lonely it gets, you will always have those two people. And when you start looking around and you start thinking and judging yourself like, oh, I'm not making enough progress, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, remember that you are always going to be judging yourself more than you're judging your progression in life, right? You're always going to be thinking like, oh, he has that. Oh, he has that. So you're like, honestly, you're comparing yourself, but you're not. Because you like to think that like you're not comparing yourself. But at the end of the day, that's still in the back of your mind, or else you wouldn't care exactly how far you've came. So enjoy the journey, bro. Because when you get to where you want to go, it's only going to get harder, number one. And two, it's going to feel the exact same you do now. You're just going to have whatever you have. Your mental space isn't going to change. You're not going to magically wake up to something. It's just more battles. Life is a constant battle. And the only way to win it is to consistently show up for yourself every single day and keep good people around you and focus on your purpose. That's how you win in this life. It's not about the money. It's not about the cars. It's not about the mansions. None of that will make you happy. Mike Tyson just fought last night at 58 years old, has everything you possibly want, and he did it because he wanted to come back to his purpose and probably get a check. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can always improve. You can always focus on just doing something better with yourself, whether that's emotionally, physically, mentally. You can focus on being happier. You can focus on being more in the moment. You can focus on being a better father or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you need to focus on, right? Do not be scared to go all in with yourself and to isolate yourself for a little bit. Do not be scared. This is what you need on your journey, bro. I'm going through a stage right now in my life where, one, I need to audit and get people out that no longer serve me, but two, I got to start getting dopamine from the better activities again, right? I've never fell off. Like, I'm still on my wake up. I'm like 120 days in. I've been killing it, but it's just like now nothing's enjoyable anymore. I've worked myself past exhaustion that now I just need to figure out how to get back the joy. Like, I love working and I love seeing my clients change, but it's like I have to work on enjoying the workouts. I have to work on enjoying the deep work on enjoying the cold showers. I have to start living in the moment again. I have to start trusting God with my purpose again. And I haven't done that at all. I'm going to be real with you. Because I love you guys. You're like my family. But I got to do better. I got to do better with being vulnerable with y'all. I've been through so much in my life. My parents passing away. Being addicted to drugs, alcohol. Getting in fights with my stepdad that was scary. Been in so many wrecks. Been in so many call to actions from God that I need to start sharing them more on YouTube. And I'm sorry for the lack of consistency there, but I just don't like y'all feeling pity for me. I never want someone to feel pity for me, because this is what God has in store for me, is to be a vessel, is to show you guys that no matter what, you can accomplish anything that you want. I was a broken kid, and in part ways, I'm still broken. I'm still trying to find myself in ways, but it all comes down to, at the end of the day, what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for that person that always made excuses and never showed up for themselves? Or do you want to be that person that overcame adversity and made something of their life when nobody thought they could? That's where you start to feel those emotions rise. And you know you have more in the tank. You know there's areas of your life that you need to focus on and you're just not doing it. You know, that's why mentors and coaches are so valuable, because they hold you accountable.